Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Israel giving y'all some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, Lord willing. Today we're going into the book of Mark, chapter 7. So this is the book of Mark, chapter 7, and we can start at verse number 14. And it reads, let me zoom in. Okay, Mark 7 and 14. And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, Hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. Verse 15. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. All right, so this is a stumbling block for the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When we read this verse, people believe it's safe or it's okay to eat unclean foods. People believe it's okay to disregard the dietary law, which is in Leviticus chapter 14. Chapter 11 and Deuteronomy chapter 14. People believe it's okay to defile the temple. So again, this is a stumbling block upon our people. Let's keep reading. Verse 16. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. So anytime this phrase or anytime the Lord says, if any man have ears to hear, let him hear, he's letting us know he's going into a parable or he's going into a dark saying, something that's deep, something that's twofold or something that's double. Reading on, verse 17. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning a parable. So this is a parable, right? The Lord said, there is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. That's a parable, meaning it's not literally speaking. Doesn't mean you can eat pork or it's safe to eat shrimp, crab, lobster, etc. The Lord's not saying you can eat whatever the hell you want to eat. Let's go into some precepts. This is the book of Job, chapter 11 and verse 6. And that he would shew thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that God exacted of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. So the point is, the secrets of wisdom are double to that which is. Meaning the Lord can give us a verse, a precept, a scripture, and it means um, there's a spiritual meaning to it along with the physical. It has two meanings, or it's double, twofold, right? Let's get an example. It's the book of Job, chapter 34 and verse 2. Hear my words, O ye wise men, and give ear unto me, ye that have knowledge. This is the point. Verse 3. For the ear tried words, as the mouth tasted meat. So this isn't literal. This is an example. This is double. This is twofold. This is a parable. It even describes the parable because it says, for the ear tried words, as the mouth tasted meat. So the same way, before you eat something, taste it to see if you like it or if it's something desirable to something you want to consume, the same way you eat, you want to try words. So people may say things or you may hear things. Words may go in your ear, but you want to try these words to see if it's something that's true, to see if is is validated. And you try it with the precepts. I tell you that in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. You got to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. So for the ear try words as the mouth tastes meat. It's not literally your ear, doesn't have taste buds. But as the mouth tastes meat, that's the parable of it, side of it. All right. Let's get another precept. There's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, and verse number 4. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord and take away the foreskins of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire and burn, that none can quench it because of the evil of your doings. That's right. So the point is circumcise yourselves to the Lord and take away the foreskins of your heart. So can someone literally cut their heart up? Does your heart have foreskin? No. The Lord is not telling us to go to the hospital. This is modern day. Go to the hospital, or you set an appointment. You tell them you want to get this procedure done. They ask you what kind of procedure. Oh, I want to take the foreskin from my heart, and they looking at you crazy. Let somebody try to take the foreskin out their heart. They're gonna be unalive. So the Lord is speaking double or twofold. Taking the foreskin from your heart is talking about your mind. Your heart would be your mind. And all that is, because anytime you're dealing with circumcision or being circumcised, you're doing something that's clean versus something that's unclean. So circumcising your heart or your mind is it's just renewing your mind. That's what the Lord said in Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. So all you're doing is renewing your mind, your heart, or cleansing, purifying. All right, let's go back to Mark chapter 7. This is the book of Mark chapter 7 and I read 17 again. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said unto them, are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the drought, purging all meats. Right. So just like we just read in Jeremiah chapter 4, the heart is the mind. So the Lord isn't talking about, things literally entering into your heart, one of your organs. You eat something, you swallow it and it goes to your heart. No, you're not talking about, what's pumping blood through your body. He's talking about your mind. So the heart and the belly will be the mind. Let's get a precept for the belly. There's the book of Revelation, chapter 10, and verse number 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it should make thy belly bitter, but it should be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Right. So John had a revelation. or a vision given from the Most High God. And the book of Revelation alone is a book of prophecy. So generally, we're dealing with parables throughout this whole book. Metaphors, dark sayings, things that's double, twofold. That's what we're getting here in this verse. So this little book will be the Bible. And the angel told John, take it and eat it up. So that John literally, take a book, a book full of more books, has a hardcover, two hardcovers at that. The material that is used to make it, and just started chewing it and eating it and, taking his time going to work on it. No, that's not what John is doing. This little book is the Bible. When the angel told him to take it and eat it just means to read it, to meditate on it. Because when you meditate on it, that would be digesting it, right? Take it and eat it up, read it. And the angel told John, it should make thy belly bitter. It's not saying, oh, he ate a book. The ink that was inside of the book on the papers, it wasn't good for his stomach. So now his belly's bitter. That's not what it's saying. It should make thy belly bitter. It's talking about his mind. So the belly is the mind because as you read, you're going to read things, that you're not used to seeing or that you're not used to hearing, or things that the mind that's new, reading the curses, that's new, that the Israelites are a cursed people. Reading about the captivities that we've been through and the different slaveries to these nations, that would make your mind bitter. Reading about the prophecies that are still to come to pass that we have to deal with, that would make your mind bitter. Being a martyr in the earth, like Yahweh Shai, that would make your mind bitter. Knowing that your family may, you know what I'm saying, depart from you, or knowing that your family may persecute you for this truth, that would make your mind bitter. Knowing that you might get cussed out, or people might want to fight you, people might want to shoot you, all kind of stuff for the truth, that would make your mind bitter. So, like the angel told John, take it and eat it up, and it should make thy belly bitter. It's talking about your mind. And it should be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Because at the end of the day, it's still good. Honey is something that is good for you, but it gives you energy too. It has good, good benefits. It keeps you well too. It's used for medicinal purposes too. So when you read the word in the Bible, it's good for you. You know, it's sweet. When you read and meditate on it, you feel good. It brings you life. It soothes you. It gives you a sound mind. You know, that's it being in thy mouth sweet as honey because it's good for you. Let's get back to Mark chapter 7. So a lot of so-called Christians stumble at this verse and they say, oh, it's okay to eat pork. We can eat our bacon in the morning with our eggs now. Or we can eat pork ribs now. You know, Christianity is a great example of the stumbling block or the doctrine that our people have fallen to just because of this verse, not understanding this verse. And all they have to do is keep reading. They'll read verse 15 and avoid reading on to verse 17 because knowing that this is a parable, that changes everything. Let's go into this word parable. So the this is the blue letter in the Strong's definition for the word parable. It says parable, figure, comparison, proverb. So we know a proverb is a wise saying, meaning like a dark saying, something you have to um really study, something the average person wouldn't know. Let's keep reading. A place of one thing by the side of another, juxtaposition, shall I if I mispronounced it, as of ships in battle, metaphor, a comparing comparison of one thing with another, likeness, similitude, an example by which a doctrine or precept is illustrated. That's a good one too. A parable, an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. So basically, you got the spiritual and you got the carnal or the physical. See, these are all good examples of metaphors in regards to a parable. Uh, a proverb, an act by which one exposes himself or or his possessions to danger, a venture or risk. I ain't talking about that. So we get the point. So this is a juxtaposition, the fact of two things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effect. So that's what a parable is. So knowing this changes everything about this doctrine that is not what goes into a man. Because people quote it all the time. They say it's not what goes in, what comes out. So now I can eat whatever I want. That's not what the Lord is saying. Let's read on. Mark chapter 7 and verse 19 again. Because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the drought, purging all meats. And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. Right? Because the Satan's job is to plague our mind. They tell you that in the book of Jeremiah. The heart is desperately wicked, and who can know it? And that's Satan. That's Satan doing it. What he do? So he diligently plagues our mind. That's why the heart is the mind. That's why the heart is desperately wicked, above all things, and who can know it? But it's not um what goes into a man, it what comes out that defiles a man. That's what the Lord is saying. Meaning, not what goes into your mind, it's the actions that man commits, which is what defiles him. Because, like it tells you in Proverbs, as a man thinketh, so is he. So it starts in your mind. You have to um, premeditate before you actually commit a sin, but it starts in your mind. In other words, you have a choice. You choose life and death, like I tell you in the book of Deuteronomy, um, chapter 30. You choose life or death. It's your choice. And you make that choice, you know, based off your actions. Let's keep reading. Verse 21, for from within, out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, theft, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All the all these evil things come from within and defile the man. Right. Because all these evil things come from the mind. Let's get some more precepts. Go to the book of Sirach. We're gonna go back to Mark. So this book of Sirach, chapter 23, and verse number 6. Let not the greediness of the belly, nor lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into the imputed mind. So this is a prayer. If brothers and sisters don't know about the book of Sirach, chapter 23, verses 1 on down through 6. It's a good prayer, for your mind, to keep your mind sound and to keep you from um vanity. So I'm gonna read it again. Let not the greediness of the belly, nor lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into the imputed mind. So again, the belly would be the mind. And this is a good precept for that as well, because it confirms that the belly is the mind in the verse. That he said, let not the greediness of the belly nor lust of the flesh take hold of me. The greediness of the belly would be lust. So if you're allowing wickedness or sin to be committed or to take control of you, now you're making a decision and a choice, to choose death rather than life. And with that decision, um, or that greed, now you're allowing, Satan to play your mind and, you're allowing, feel like now you're allowing your mind to be played. Let's get another precept. It's the book of Sirach, chapter, should I get wrong chapter? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 36, and verse number 18. The belly devoureth all meats, yet is one meat better than the other. So again, we know the belly is the mind. It devoureth all meats. So although, we see things or we hear things, yet is one meat better than the other. So that's the difference between clean and unclean. So although we may hear things or see things that's unrighteous or unclean, there's still the righteous, that's an opposition to it. Let's keep reading. As the palate tastes diverse kinds of venison, so do an heart of understanding false speeches. So that's the matter of discernment as well. Knowing evil from good, knowing what's right and what's unrighteous. knowing what's clean and what's unclean. And that's the same thing when it comes to our mind. Being able to take wickedness and filter it out. That's why the Most High, through Yahweh Shai, used that parable. It's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but what comes out. Because it's very spiritual. Um, Even in regards to this precept, it's very spiritual and it's very imperative to be able to filter out wickedness and sin from your mind. And if you can't do that with the precepts, keeping it on your heart, then you're going to be in sin. See if I can get an example. Matter of fact, I use this one. So the human digestive system, first we had to eat or consume something. Let's say something wicked. Let's say we, something wicked. Now, although on a physical or carnal level, we're dealing with our, with the mouth, consuming something with our mouth. Put your spiritual lens on and see the mouth as your ears or even your eyes, right? Let's say you consume something wicked. It goes down to the stomach, right? Just like you know, let's say you're watching something that's wicked. Let's say you listen to something that's wicked. Put your spiritual lens on. Let's say the stomach is the mind, like the precept we've been going over. The belly is the mind. Now, as servants of the Most High God, we have to we have to know how to filter out sin or wickedness, and that's what the intestines are for, right? We got large intestine and we got small intestines. Again, using your spiritual lens, let this be the precepts. Having precepts in your heart so you can filter out, what's good and what's bad, so you can discern what's righteous and what's unrighteous, what's against God and what pleases the Most High God. Then, just like on a carnal level, we consume something, it goes down to the stomach through the intestines, and then you got to poop it out. Now, spiritually, if it's sin or if it's wickedness, yeah, you want to get rid of it, you know, and it goes down into the drought, like Christ said. So you're done with it. Then you wash your hands, spiritually speaking, if you have ears to hear, right? So again, this is the book of Mark, chapter 7 and 19, because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the drought, purging all meats. And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. Right. And when it comes out of man, you want it to go into the toilet. You don't want to, you know, be defined as that spirit or that sin coming from your mind. You don't want to be defined as an adulteress, fornicator, murderer, a thief, covetous, wicked, deceitful, lasciviousness, having an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolish. These are all of the things you want to go down the drain. And the drain, it could be, spiritually speaking, it could be back to it could be the lake of fire, with Satan, because you're rebuking that spirit too. So another thing too, when it comes to the mind or the belly or the heart, you want to keep your spiritual guard up. So let me see, you definitely want to keep your spiritual guard up. Shalaki, get this precept. Okay, hold on. This is the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 17, and verse number 1. And Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead and strengthening himself against Israel. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Judah and set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. Right. So fenced cities and garrisons were set up. Let's see if we can get the definition of what a garrison is. And again, you definitely want to keep your spiritual guard up when it comes to what you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, even the people you hang around. So this is the blue letter, the Strong's definition for garrison. It says something stationary, a perfect, a military post, a statute, garrison, officer, pillar. So you want to have a garrison set up, spiritually speaking, for your mind, right? Something that's stationary or a military post, right? Brothers and sisters know, anytime you're dealing with a military base, they had that garrison before you can even go on the base. And what they doing? They checking your ID. They might do a vehicle search. They want to know, what business do you have here? They might make you get out, pat you down. They checking everything before you can enter in onto this base. So it's the same thing that you want to have spiritually speaking. Let's look it up so we can get a visual. Ah, let's do ancient. Somebody I'm looking for a good one. I mean, I'm sure there's a better one out there, but this would be a garrison right here. So before you enter, you have to go through this garrison. Basically a checkpoint, you know, and not just anybody can go through. So it's got to be the same thing with sin and wickedness. You know, you got to check it at the door with precepts, and that's that filtering system. I'm trying to see if I can find a better one. Maybe I missed. Okay, Lord willing, you know, the point was made. So again, a garrison, you know, it's like a military post. All right, let's go back to the verse. To the Second Chronicles chapter 17 and 2. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Judah and set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. So it was, you know, this was a prudent man. Obviously, you know, he set up these garrisons, uh, forces. He set up forces in all the fenced cities. He made sure that the city was protected, you know, from evil or potential threats. Right. So, you know, again, for the most part, a lot of so-called Christians, you know, they may pull this verse and say that just justifies them eating unclean foods, but that's not what it's talking about at all. Again, what goes into a man is not what defiles him, but what comes out. So basically your actions. What a man thinks is like the beginning of sin based off that process on what you do with those thoughts. But the Lord is saying it's your actions that defile you, right? Anytime something's defiled, it's unclean or unholy. So that's what makes a man unholy or unclean, them living out or committing those acts that Satan has put in their mind as evil or wicked. So, Lord willing, you know, somebody was edified in some form of fashion. Give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.